We now cross to Simphiwe Mankhanya, who is our SABC reporter, and he is joined by Mkhuleko Hlengwa, who is, of course, the spokesperson for the party.
Well, a very good morning to you, pal, and good morning to Simphiwe as well as our viewers at home. Well, certainly the stage is set as the IFP prepares itself to table its manifesto ahead of the May 8th elections, which will be taking place in less than 2 months from now. Well, certainly the IFP has been plagued by challenges since its formation. We understand also that parties like the National Freedom Party came from this political party, which affected the numbers in terms of those who support this party. But with me, I have the party spokesperson, Mr. Mkhuleko Hlengwa. Mr. Hlengwa, thank you very much, sir, for joining us, and welcome to the program. 20,000 people, are you going to make it?
Of course we will. As we speak now, we're actually getting reports from our structures that transport may be insufficient, which is an indication, of course, of the enthusiasm which is out there, because we have made it a commitment of the party to regroup, to reorganize, and that has been evident in by-elections. Even if we're not winning by-elections, our numbers have been growing. So either way, the party is registering growth. You look at the fact that, you mentioned one of the splinter parties now. That party is a shadow of its former self, because people have been coming back into the IFP in droves, simply because they fully understand that we've got a full commitment to service delivery, we've got a full commitment to changing the lives of South Africans. And today we're going to be doing exactly that. We're presenting a very clear plan for social and economic justice, which is going to ensure that the majority of our people will be able to access jobs, we want to grow the economy, and we are committed to infrastructure spending. We are committed to local economic development as a means of creating the jobs we speak about. And so it is fundamentally our belief that the manifesto that we'll be presenting today is practical and pragmatic, because it speaks to the very real issues which are affecting South Africans. So if you look at what the IFP has had to go through over the past few years, with the ANC sponsoring the formation of the NFP and all these other shenanigans that they've been up to, we've been able to meet those challenges with hard work, commitment, and registering electoral growth. We managed to grow in 2016, which is indicative of the fact that we have turned the corner. So we approach these elections buoyed by those kind of successes and growths, but at the same time not ignorant to the very prevalent threats which are out there of parties who don't want to see us succeed. But we are driven by the commitment to serve.
Mr. Hlengwa, the question though arises that mainly you would agree with me that supporters of this party come from KwaZulu-Natal. It's not a secret. How does this party, 40-year-old party plus, how does it ensure that it makes inroads in other provinces to ensure that it gets support from other people who may not necessarily be from KwaZulu-Natal?
Look, we should not downplay the significance of the political reality that all political parties have got a base. There's no shame in that. And the fact that we governed this province in particular very successfully, our track record in KwaZulu-Natal speaks for itself. And we will unpack those successes today. You will even recall that during the dark days of the ANC-sponsored age of denialism insofar as HIV and AIDS is concerned, it was in this province where we were able to roll out ARVs, having gone to the Constitutional Court to sort of bypass the national interventions. Had we not done that, a generation of young people of this province would have died. And so you look at our track record in KwaZulu-Natal and you recognize that you've done well. What we have done is now take those successes to the rest of the country. The National Expansion Program driven by the NEC is yielding results. As we speak now, buses from Western Cape, Eastern Cape have already arrived early this morning. Western Cape, Gauteng, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, Northwest Free State. It speaks to the fact that we have committed ourselves to a national drive, because we fully understand it would be an injustice of democracy if we don't avail the IFP to every South African.
Okay. Mr. Hlengwa, another issue though is the issue of your leader, Inkosi Mangosuthu, who has been leading this party since it was formed in 1976. The question that many people would ask is, what then happens after him? Because there's no clear succession plan.
Arona, what's the issue? There's no issue. The party has been very clear in its intentions of a smooth leadership transition. In 2012, we set into motion the roadmap to that transition. We created the position of deputy president, which de facto had been there, with the position of national chair. We announced in 2017 that the Extended National Council had nominated Comrade Velenkosi Hlabisa, whom I'm sure SABC will be speaking to later on this morning, as the presidential candidate of the party come conference. But what we did go through was that when we were preparing for the conference, we identified bogus branches, and we had to safeguard the collective constitutional integrity of the IFP and our own systems. We had to go back and audit, clean up the register of branches.
If I can interrupt you there, it's been 7 years already since you've been trying to hold an elective conference.
It's not been 7 years. The term of office was 5 years, and we set into motion the process of planning. So to say it's 7 years would be a misnomer, because you would sort of want us to have a conference within the term. But be that as it may, I can assure South Africans that the Extended National Council met on January 19 in 2019, and we presented the comprehensive report. Branches are ready, constituencies and districts are ready, so the party is conference ready as we speak now. The toss-up that we had was, do we go to conference or do we go to elections? We were a few months, and we decided that we're going to go to elections, and then in July have a conference. We've requested Principal Telezi to continue leading this transition, and I want to put on public record that he actually did not want to accede to that request, but as a disciplined cadre of the IFP, he was able to understand what the party was saying, and he has set very strict terms and conditions, and so we are confident that the transition is in full swing, well managed, for the good of all South Africans, because we want an orderly transition.
Mr. Hlengwa, thank you very much for your time. Well, you've heard it from the IFP spokesperson, Mr. Mkhuleko Hlengwa, outlining some of the issues facing the party currently. Well, I can tell you that proceedings will get underway here just after 9 o'clock this morning, and the leader of the IFP, Inkosi Mangosuthu, will then table the party's manifesto just after 1 midday. But for now, let's go to a quick ad break.